kicking off a series, or last week we kicked off a series called Till Death Do Us Part. And I said this is for everybody. It's not just if you're married. This is for if you're dating, if you're single and want to be married, if you're engaged. This is for everybody, okay? So a little recap from last week. I said that there are 4 laws, and if you apply these laws to your life, you could have a successful marriage. And the first law was the law of priority. And the law of priority, we had to have, obviously, priorities, you have to have things in first order. So, and I said, the law of priority, number 1, would be God. God is going to be your number 1. So I found my 1. It's not Heather, it's God is my 1. And then number 2 would be my spouse. And then 3 would be kids, and then extended family, which would be in-laws, and then church, and then work. And sometimes what we do, we have our lower priorities in the wrong place. We put them up here. And it's not that the lower priorities are bad, they're just in the wrong place. And then things kind of get out of whack, and your marriage kind of goes off the rails, and kind of things just kind of go, eh. So that was last week. So the number 1 priority is God first, your spouse second. So, has anybody ever made a fool of yourself for the sake of love? Like, you just did something, Dirk, I don't know, like every day. You just did something like, it was in public, you didn't care, you're just going to do it. And I thought about, I'm going to ask somebody and see if, but then I thought that could be pretty risky, so I didn't want to do that. But I racked my brain trying to think of something, where I was just foolish, didn't care what everybody thought. And I really can't think of anything. But there are times at home, we do things, silly things. And early on when I was pursuing Heather, we were dating. And I was at her house, and we were sitting down. We're on the couch. And, smooching a little. And looking at her intently in the eyes. You know how that is, guys. And I said, do you like your nibbles eared on? And she looked at me. No, do you like your ears nibbled on, And she knew right then that she had the guy of her dreams. So we all say things and we do things and we're foolish, But by nature, I think we pursue what we don't have, right? Men, we like to hunt, don't we? A lot of men hunt, fish, golf. We're chasing after something that we don't yet have. And we did that with our ladies. Women, you're the same way. You like to go shopping, right? You're looking for the best bargain, how many purses you can get at Vera Bradley. I don't have that one. And, I know what it's like. I go shopping with Heather. I see her, she wants to get the best bargain that she can get. So we pursue those things that we don't have. And then when it comes to our relationships, when we're pursuing each other, early on, we may write some poems and some notes, and leave them for you. Back in the 80s, we did something that was called, you created a mixtape. Anybody ever create a mixtape? Any hands in here? Yeah? Okay, thanks, Dan. And here, probably today you guys make a playlist and just send it, But back in the day, you had to create a mixtape. Then you would put, the artist on, the hair band ballads. I had Bon Jovi, I'll Be There For You. Probably some Journey, Open Arms. You had to have Chicago in there. Probably, REO Speedwagon, Air Supply. You got all those songs in there, So we would do those things that we wouldn't normally do. And sometimes, even when I first met Heather, my brother-in-law told me, Chris, you outpunted your coverage. So I didn't know how to take that. Is that a compliment? Or is Tom's back there? No, it's not. Thanks, Tom. So I took it as a compliment, okay? So that means she's up here and I'm down here then. So she didn't outpunt her coverage at all then. So, but hey, Chris, you outpunted your coverage. She's pretty, she's smart, she's witty, she's all these things. And then, so like I said, I didn't know, do I take that as a compliment? I probably shouldn't, but who cares, I got the girl. That's how I felt. So I think we all have similar stories where you want to be with your honey, you would do those crazy things, you would drive overnight to be with them, you would spend your whole savings account for them on their birthday. Or my favorite would be like this one here. You're on the phone. Okay, well, I got to go. I love you. I love you too. Well, hang up. No, I'm not hanging up on you. You hang up. No, you hang up. Well, I love you. You guys are laughing because you have done it. You know. I know that you know that you've done it because I've done it. So, but what happens? You get married, you have some kids, and then what happens? You stop pursuing each other. You caught your prey. And then you wonder, where's the intimacy? You know, we got kids, and where's everything going? But let me ask you this question. Where in any other area of your life can you be lazy and improve? I mean, think about this. You know, people come to the gym all the time because they want to improve their life. They're going to change their diet. They're going to start working out. They're going to start exercising. They're going to, either they want to change their physique and bulk up or trim down. They do these different things. Look at business. If you own a business, I know we have some business owners in here. You can't be a lazy business owner and expect to have a successful business. It just doesn't happen. I mean, let me pick on Dirk again here. He's got a successful business, He's very good at painting. But let's say Dirk is a little lazy and, somebody wants him to paint their room green and he's like, nah, I don't have any green. I think blue will look good in here. He's not going to have a successful business for very long if he's doing what he wants to do, if he's being lazy in it. I like to keep a nice yard, like my yard mowed. I like to get the leaf blower out, blow all the leaves away, put things out, whatever season it is, Christmas or Easter. I like to do those things. And the thing is that we have misconceptions that if you have to work at it, then I didn't marry my soulmate. If you think you have to work hard at your relationship, then you think, well, maybe I didn't marry the right one. And we see this in Hollywood all the time. People get married, it's getting too hard, they get divorced. It's just one of those things. But I think that marriages, you have to have a high goal, and you have to have high work ethic. So you can't be lazy. So a high goal, Heather and I, we have our expectations down here a little bit, but we still have high goals of a healthy marriage. We want a healthy marriage. And we both have a good, strong work ethic. Therefore, we have a very good marriage. If you go into marriage with having a high goal expectation and a lazy work ethic, your marriage probably is going to suffer. It's probably not going to be very good. And then this is what happens. You start looking at other yards, okay? The grass is greener over there. Maybe it's across your neighbor's yard or at work or on the internet. And then we're like, this is where you need to water your own yard. So last week I talked about the law of priority. And that is, I promise that God will be my first priority and my spouse will be my second priority. This week, I promise to always pursue my number two. That's going to be our law this week. Genesis 2:24, it says, that is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. That is why a man leaves his father and mother. And we talked about leave last night. That word is azab. It means to relinquish, to let go, okay, to loosen your grip. The word this week I want to look at is united. He's going to be united to his wife and they become one flesh. The word united means dabak, or it's translated dabak, which means to cling or adhere, to catch by pursuit, to pursue hard with affection and devotion. So, there's different parts in the Bible where dabak is also translated. Psalm 63:8 says, I follow close behind you. So I dabak behind you. I pursue from behind you, okay? In Job chapter 41, it says, they are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted, okay? They are Daubach together. Judges chapter 20, verse 45, they pursued hard after them. They Daubach after them. They pursued them. Now, Psalms 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So I'm going back to priority number 1 here. Delight yourself in the Lord. He will give you the desires of your heart. Now, everybody familiar with the story of Jacob and Rachel in here? If not, Rachel had a lovely figure. Jacob saw her, and he was like, that's going to be my lady, okay? So he worked it out with Laban, Rachel's dad. Hey, work for me for 7 years, and you can marry her. But what happened at the end of the 7 years? He was tricked into marrying the sister Leah, so he had to work another 7 years to marry Rachel. He had worked already for what he had. And, you know, sometimes when we read these stories in the Bible, we just kind of read it in 5 minutes, and we don't take the whole 14 years he worked for her. You know, I just read it in 5 minutes, you know, and we think, oh, yeah, wow, well, good for him. But 14 years, and he thought he had her after 7 years, and he had to work a whole nother 7 years. Guys, would you pursue your wife for 14 years before she was even ever your wife? Would you be like, she looked good, but okay, you know? I don't know. Would you do that? I mean, I would. In the book where I got this idea for Jimmy Evans in Marriage on the Rock, Jimmy Evans talks about the manna principle. Now, the manna principle is you can't let yesterday's actions fuel the relationship long term. Okay, so we all know what happened in the desert, in the wilderness. The Israelites wandered around 40 years, and God rained manna down from heaven for them every day. And he said, every day you're going to gather enough food for you for that day. You're not going to take any more except on the day before the Sabbath. You can take, 2 portions. Otherwise, the food's going to rot and spoil. Same thing here. Okay, once the clock strikes midnight, guys, we got to start over again. So let's say you went to Hawaii and you worked really hard for it. You can't say, well, you know what, I don't have to put any more effort into this relationship because I took you to Hawaii and I worked really hard for it and we had a good time for 2 weeks. Now you can't point back to that 6 months from now and say, but I took you to Hawaii. No, that ended 6 months ago. You got to continue every day. That's what this is about. We have to operate on the manna principle. You can't accumulate but for 1 day's worth. So every night when the clock strikes midnight, men, we're starting over. So the principle here is we're going to learn that the relationship is an everyday thing. Has anybody ever seen the movie 50 First Dates? Yeah? Okay. It's one of our favorite movies. Hollywood accidentally made a movie on the manna principle. So they did. Here you have Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore, just the premise of the movie. And she was in a car accident, loses her memory. She can remember everything up to the accident. Then Adam Sandler comes along after the accident, and he starts to fall in love with her. But she can only remember from that day, So then he has to win her over again every day. So Hollywood did that. They didn't even know that they did that. So I thought that's a very good thing. For once, they finally did something good. So that's how we are supposed to be, guys. I keep saying guys, but ladies as well. We need to continue to win them over every day. I want to make a little pivot here. So I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but if you're not married, if you're dating or not dating, let me just say this. I would say it's in your best interest. If you start dating somebody and they don't really pursue you, they kind of take you more for granted, to back out of that relationship before you say I do and there's a ring on your finger. If they're not willing to clean their car for you now, they probably won't later. If they're not willing to dress up for you now and take you out to dinner, they probably won't later. Now, what I want to do, I want to talk about the 4 major needs of a man and the 4 major needs of a woman, okay? And there's 4 of each, okay? So, this is my notebook. I shared this with you guys last week. This is from 20 years ago. So, the 4 major needs of a man, okay? Let me make some room here. Number 1. Anybody want to guess what number 1 is for a man? What I heard somebody said? Okay. Physical, we'll call it sex. The answer is, okay. Okay. The number 1 need of a man is to be honored. He wants to be esteemed. Psalms 22 says that God inhabits the praises of his people. We're made in the image and likeness of God. Men will inhabit the praises of their wife. Women, you need to praise your man. It's important. We long for that. We desire that. We need that. Okay? So the number 1, and I don't think there's room in your notes for that, but if you guys want to scribble down somewhere on the side, you can do that. Number 1 need of a man is honor. Number 2 would be physical or sex. Okay? Number 3 would be kindred fellowship. That would mean find something common to do. Invite her to go golfing with you. Maybe it's a bad mistake and you'll never do it again, but maybe she'll have fun and you'll have fun with it. Find something common to do. Maybe it's going to games together. Just find something that you guys can do together. And number 4 would be domestic support, turning the house into a home. A guy wants to come home, he wants to, come home to a home, not just a house. So those are your 4 needs of a man: to be honored, sex, kindred fellowship, and domestic support. The 4 needs of a woman. Okay. Number 1, they want security and stability. They want a selfless, sacrificial man. Okay? They want somebody who they can depend on, somebody who they know they can trust. And husbands, we can do more harm than I think anybody else by not being that selfless, sacrificial man to a lady. My duty is to nurture her. And have you guys ever thought, okay, we're going to give an account to God one day. So men, we're going to give an account to how we treated our wives, our family, everybody. But we're talking about marriage here. We're going to give an account to how we treated our wives. I want to hear Jesus say, my Heavenly Father say, well done, good and faithful servant. Not, that's the best you could do? It's wrong. Okay, so security and stability is what they want. Number 2 is going to be soft, non-sexual affection. Okay? Some of you guys are looking at me like, what's that? So, soft, non-sexual affection. I'll get more into this in a minute. But the more emotional and tender I become, the more sexual they'll become. Okay? Number 3 is going to be open and honest communication. So this is where we're connecting hearts. And this is where I always go back to where Heather and I, this is almost under the law of purity. We're open, we're just naked and ashamed in front of each other, spiritually, emotionally. Okay? So we're just connecting hearts. So we have security, stability, soft, non-sexual affection, open, honest communication. And then she wants leadership out of you. She wants some leadership. Initiate with the kids, okay? If there's discipline, if there's something that needs to be done at home, initiate. With romance, with finances, spiritual matters. Now listen to me. This isn't what Chris said, I'm supposed to initiate. That doesn't mean you get to dominate. You're not here to say, this is how it's going to be. You just initiate a conversation. Okay? So I'm going to talk to Heather. Hey, we got this going on, with the bills, blah, blah, blah. It's not, I'm dominating, this is it. We're going to initiate that. We're going to talk about it. So, how do we close the gap between having good intentions here and actions, okay? Because I think a lot of us have really good intentions, but at the end of the day, we just we're tired. We feel love. We want to love. We want to give this love. We don't always know exactly how to do that. So, number one, okay, when you think something good, say it. When you think something good, say it. Hebrews 3:13, but encourage one another daily, as long as it's called today. If you think something good, say it. Don't hold it back. Speak it out. Live by saying, hey, thank you. You look amazing. You look gorgeous. I would marry you all over again. Men, you need to pursue her with words of affection, okay? Continually pursue her with words of affection. Non-sexual affection. Once again, you guys are like, oh, what's non-sexual affection? It's affection that is non-sexual, okay? Just so I can say this, okay? Because, guys, we can make statements that, hey, everything sounds that way, okay? Like, Heather would come home from the grocery store, I would be in the house, and she's got a couple bags of groceries, and she'll come in and say, hey, there's a couple more bags of groceries in the car, can you get them? Oh, yeah, I can grab those grocery bags. We can make anything sound the wrong way, okay? Hey, the tires on the car need rotated. I'll rotate your tires. You know what I mean? See, we say things that can be, okay, that's kind of how God wired us, but you understand what I'm saying, okay? So I want to make it a little funny because sometimes I can be a little, so we need to pursue her with words of affection, okay? When you say I love you, ladies, say I love you because, and give a reason. I love you because you honor God. I love you because you're so much fun. I love you because you're self-sacrificing. I love you because you're my best friend. You need to pursue him with words of affirmation that make him feel good. And guys, you need to pursue her with words of affection. And let me just say this, ladies. He's becoming what you see in him. So don't tell him what he's not. You can do a lot of damage by telling him what he's not. You're not this, you're not that, okay? Tell him who you see him becoming. You need to build him up spiritually. When you take me to church, I feel so close to you. When you prayed over the Christmas dinner and everybody was there, I was just so attracted to you. I mean, just build him up. So men, she wants to know, and this goes back to the manna principle, do you love me today? That's what she wants to know. And guys, or ladies, he wants to know, do you believe in me today? I want to know when I get done, and Heather is standing there, and she says, hey, good job. That I felt like she believes in me. That encourages me. That builds me up. So whatever it is you can do to build your man up, you need to build him up. So that was number one. When you think something good, say it. When you think something special, do it. If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them, James 4:17. So come home early from work. If you're not working over, come on home early. Don't go fishing, don't go golfing, don't do something. Grab some takeout, bring it home, buy tickets to the game, get to the game, go spend some time together. Or guys, you come home and you say, you know what? I know you had a rough couple of days. I'm going to bathe the kids. I got the kids. I'm going to do the dishes. I got the dishes. You just go in the go in the bedroom and watch some TV, or go in the bathroom and take a bowl. Whatever you need to do, I got this. And if your wife's in a ladies group, some flowers to the ladies group, you get double points for that. Okay? Okay, Austin? Man, I married a good one. So maybe the husband feels overwhelmed, and he comes home, and the wife can say, you know what, I got the bags are packed, the kids are at the babysitter or grandma's, I got the hotel booked, let's just go relax. There's things that we can do. You can do it. Fill up the gas tank. Leave a thoughtful note. Make the bed. Watch a chick flick instead of a bang bang shoot 'em up one. Just remember, all points evaporate at midnight, okay? So remember that. Do something that your spouse loves, okay? If he loves golfing, like I said, go with him and try it. Maybe it's a bad idea. Just try it. If she loves shopping, join her, Marriage is sacrificial. Jesus was sacrificial. He's who we're supposed to imitate after. We need to follow him. If he's sacrificial, we need to be sacrificial. I'm looking out here, and I don't know where people are in their marriages and relationships. I think there's a lot of good relationships out here, but I don't know. I don't live with you guys. I know there's people that have been married, a short amount of time. People have been married a long amount of time. I just know that this stuff can transform you, okay? If we follow how Jesus lived a sacrificial life, your marriage can be so much better. And then the last thing here, when you want something different, be it, okay? Don't be like, well, if only she would. If my husband would be the spiritual leader. Don't gripe about what your spouse isn't, okay? You can't control him. He can't control you. Continue to grow into who you are supposed to be. Worry about yourself. I can't change Heather at all. She can't change me. I can't worry about her. I can worry about me. I know I can change me with the help of God. That's where I want you guys to be. If you don't like what you're getting, you need to change things. To get what you never had, you must do what you've never done. I see these things on calendars and stuff I have at the gym. To get what you've never had, you must do what you've never done. That's so good. That's so true. But to get what you once had, you must do what you once did. Let's say you had a great relationship at the beginning, a good marriage. And then kids came along and life came along and maybe some sickness or something happened. And then you stopped pursuing each other and stopped chasing after one another. Revelations chapter 2, verse 5 says, remember the height from which you have fallen, repent, and do the things you did at first. Let me read it out of the Bible here, because I think I want to go back to verse 4. He says, yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken the love you had at first. He says, you have forsaken the love you had at first. Consider how far you have fallen. Repent and do the things you did at first. If you need to get back into that groove to have that love, do the things you did at first to fall in love. Chris, that's too hard. The grass is greener over there. Guess what? You can't see how the dog poop standing over here that's over there, can you? There's a lot of landmines over there that you can't see. It may look good, but you don't want to just water and fertilize your own land. That's what you need to do. Throw down some fertilizer. Jesus pursued us. He showed us how to live. He pursued us to the point of death. Are you willing to pursue your spouse that far? Literally, figuratively, are you willing to pursue her? We know what our number one priority is. It's God. Our number two is our spouse. We need to pursue our spouse all the time.